Okay, let's continue on reading the self-forgiveness lists from destiny.co.za. This is Veno Structural Resonance Part 2, and you can also find this at www.oneinequalityaslife.ning.com. If you click on the groups, you'll find a featured group called Self-Forgiveness Done 10 Times. Click on that and click on June's page to find all the links to the self-forgiveness lists. Okay, cool. So I'm reading the self-forgiveness list. Okay, let's continue on. I forgive myself to have allowed myself to take nature for granted. The very nature as living expressive example of life as who I am. I forgive myself to have allowed and accepted myself to be directed, controlled, influenced, disempowered, and manipulated by the mind. The very manifestation that exists within me that I have accepted and allowed myself to become the world an example of what exists within me. I forgive myself to have allowed myself to believe that I need and require this programmed mind consciousness system to live because I've allowed and accepted myself to be programmed to believe that I'm the mind consciousness system within me. I forgive myself to have allowed for eons of time to not stand up. I accepted and allowed enslavement of me within me, and thus accepted and allowed enslavement of others within themselves. Thus for eons of time, all of existence in me included, have accepted and allowed ourselves to be enslaved by the mind through our own acceptances and allowances of the existence of the mind. Thus I am individually responsible for all that exists and for all I have become as all of existence as one. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that I am self-responsible. I forgive myself to have allowed myself to become fearful, uncertain, unresponsive, anxious, and unwilling to have to take self-responsibility for what I have accepted and allowed within me, thus within others, and for what has manifested and become of this world and humanity as me, because of shame, remorse, regret, sorrow, anger, and hatred of myself, for what I have accepted and allowed to be done unto me, what I have accepted and allowed to be done unto myself, because I don't stand up in moments when I could. I forgive myself to have allowed myself to think. I forgive myself to have accepted and allowed myself to be programmed to believe that thinking is normal, ordinary, and acceptable, and allowed because it's who I am and what I am. I forgive myself to have allowed myself to be programmed to believe that headaches are headaches and of no meaning or worth, instead of realizing that headaches are of the human physical body, assisting and supporting me in standing something is very wrong, in stating something is very wrong. Correction. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that medication exists to suppress the expression, assistance, and support of the human physical body of life within, and its oneness and equality as who I am, to further the separation of me from life as the human physical body, as the manifested expression of who I am. Do not allow me to question pain, but immediately present a temporary solution for the pain as medication. I forgive myself to have allowed and accepted myself to believe that pain is normal, that pain is acceptable and allowed and okay, instead of realizing the experience and manifestation of fear manifested expression of pain is the human physical body of life as who I am as life. Okay, communicating with me. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to separate me from myself as life as a manifestation of life as who I am as a human physical body, through suppression, separation, and being unquestionably compliant and obedient to the programmed mind and systematic reality of consciousness, by believing pain is ordinary and normal and its temporary solution exists in the form of medication. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to be programmed within and as the becoming and believing of myself as the polarity equations of right and wrong, good and bad, and positive and negative, instead of me trusting my own lost. Okay. My own discernment as who I am of life within and as one is in equality. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to accept and allow this world and all of humanity to continue as is because of the following allowed and accepted law, for which I accepted and allowed myself to live by. Comply and adhere to it just the way it is. I forgive myself that I've allowed and accepted myself to be programmed to believe that intentions and feelings and expressions and experience of me that are real, instead of realizing that emotions and feelings are generated through the act of thinking, that is, of the mind system within me. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to become the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the mind system, which I have accepted and allowed within me, and because of this becoming of me, the world as me has become the becoming of me as a mind consciousness system, systems fueling system. So this is the end of this list. I would like to tell you that I do 20 sets of breath awareness after every video, in which I close my eyes, I listen to my breath as I breathe in, pause, breathe out, pause. Okay, that's one set. I do 20 sets of those. Cool, very cool.